Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, thank you for being here. Welcome to another episode on Reunite with Self. Today, it's going to be powerful. This episode is going to be powerful. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 steps to make something happen. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I will share with you 3 steps to make something happen, something that makes you feel excited, but maybe a little intimidated. Maybe some fear comes up, some doubt, uncertainty, something that requires courage on your part for sure. Something maybe that is new, that is different, something that is aligned with your soul, something that your heart is calling, something that you're curious about, something that you know that will make a shift in your life. Whether it is big or small, whatever the change, the decision, the thing may be, I will share with you what really made a huge impact in my life, what I figured out after long years of really hardship, going back and forth, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, trying really hard. I don't like to use the word try, but I use it consciously here. I was trying to make something happen. I was working really hard, maybe. I really wanted it. So this was like first of all, lack mentality. If you really want something that does not exist in your life, if you really want it, just wanting it is just saying to the universe, I don't have it. But you already have it. Whatever you want in your life, love, abundance, joy, happiness, peace, clarity, whatever it is that you need, you have to first of all understand that you already have it, like somewhere in you. It might be something really, a part of you that is really, really small and tiny that you don't see yet. But once unleashed, you will discover that you actually had whatever you needed all along the way. But it is about, and this podcast is about, reuniting with self, like you truly have it inside. So we talk about basically everything that blocks you from being that. And so having that in your 3D physicality, like you already have what you need inside. But there were things that happened to you that made you make decisions that are not really good for you. When you made those decisions as you were a child, a baby, a teenager, whatever the age, they were the right things to do, especially if you depended on other people, like if you were a child or a baby then. that was the right thing to do. So we thank ourselves because that was the only way that we could survive. That was the only way a child or a baby could handle that thing, whatever it is, and go on and survive. So that was the right thing to do at the time. But now as adults, we are here to reunite with our truth, like with our essence, because your essence carries so much gift that you will share with the world. You have a gift or gifts that others need, that you will bring to the table in your community, and you will make a shift, a change in your community. So let's get to it. 3 steps to make something happen in the journey to make something happen. So what will be required from you? What I discovered is that there is 3 steps that are truly essential for anything you want to accomplish in your life. Accomplish or have or make like happen. The first one, I'll go through them, but I first want to tell them to you. The first one is major. We talk about it a lot here. Clarity, not just clarity on what you want, baby. Yeah, it's very important on like knowing what you want maybe, but you know, it changes, it shifts. Sometimes it's just like the journey of, let's say, making an impact in someone's life or in others' lives is what you want, and then you realize a gift about yourself. You begin that journey and other things like start unraveling. You don't need to know exactly what's going to happen. And that's not required. And maybe that's not even fun. So first one is clarity. What's clarity? I'll talk about here. Second one is action plus protection. And we'll talk about it. And the third one is persistence and consistency. These are all major steps that you need to be conscious of in the journey of making something happen. Why I'm talking about this stuff is because I was missing these major steps in my life when I wanted to make something happen. So let's get to it. I'm going to make this episode probably shorter and sweet. Short and sweet. So the first one is clarity. The clarity I talk about here is, of course, like it's great if you know where you're going, what you want to do, and all of that stuff. But for that to happen, like for you to have goals that you are certain about and the results that you want to get, that you're certain about, that you create that certainty for, first of all, like even just to like begin this journey with the right foot, and like even if for this to be possible for you to have the result that you want, you need to have clarity on what had stopped you until now. Like what truly stopped you? What happened? What someone did? How you enabled it? How it influenced you in your life and your actions and the results that you got? Why did you get the poor results in certain areas of your life? Why? This is the clarity I'm talking about. This is major, my friends. This is so major. This is why I do this podcast, to give you clarity, to, for you even have to have a question mark on something that you never really want to look at, but there is something there. So I talk about basically here, the clarity is basically about family stuff. There we go. It's family stuff. If there is any narcissistic behavior, people, one of your parents, both of your parents, siblings, relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, nephews, grandfathers, grandmothers, like I am talking about first the family you were born into, that you were raised in, the like the small circle, and then when you look at the bigger circle, but still looking at family. I'm not talking about your neighbor. I'm not talking about your teacher in kindergarten. I am talking about your family, because in a child's life, a child looks at, as you know, at his or her mother and father as the god and the goddess, like truth, like that's it. And then, of course, other relatives, like blood family, has a huge impact on you as well. How you see the world, how you think people see you, how things work, your value, how precious you are, if you're enough or not, how relationships work, and all of that stuff. And you start, if you are like, this episode and this podcast is for highly sensitive souls, highly sensitive, fully empathetic, compassionate, open-hearted, loving souls. This episode is for the highly sensitive. And so for you, I want you to have clarity on what truly happened, what that narcissistic tendency, narcissistic behavior parent did and said to you, and what they did consistently. What were the areas that they were really truly affecting you? Were you being seen and heard as your authentic self, or were you hiding? Why did you choose to hide? Was it your true essence, or was it something that was necessary for you to survive and not be attacked, for example, more? So you had to make yourself smaller for the tiger not to attack you, for the predator, for the parent that had narcissistic behavior, tendency. We're not making anyone good or bad in this podcast. I have zero interest in this, as you know. I don't care if someone loves you or not, if someone really loves you so much, whatever. If someone is good or bad or evil or this or that, I have zero interest in this. I am not interested. I'm not interested in this. So please don't go to that. These are the tricky ways that we self-sabotage ourselves. That has been your whole story. Like, that's what you were told. That is the way that you give up on getting a clarity. Like, this was done to me. That was conscious. At that age, I would not do this to my child. And if I did it, I would want to know and make a change and repair. Repair was never done. This was done consistently. It seemed like a very, very small thing, but it made a huge impact on my psyche, psychology, my my actions. It just made a huge impact on me. You have to make this super clear. And for this, you have to be so honest and open and compassionate with yourself. This time, you're going to be compassionate with only yourself, with the child in you. The child in you, you as a child, whatever you experienced. And as a side note, not a side note, but something that I realized in a very powerful way this year was that I am someone that remembers everything. I never forget anything. It's just my nature is I even figured out that I remember things as I was a year old or something, a year and a half. People usually don't remember, and not really important things, just just regular stuff, daily life. And from 3 years onwards, I remembered everything. I'm someone who doesn't forget. So I don't know what this is called. I think it is I remember scenes. I don't forget what I see, what I experience. But I'm not so great with names or numbers or whatever. Or maybe I am, but I'm just not interested. I'm focused more on the visuals. So I'm telling you this because I was someone who remembered everything. And I was someone who was open to healing themselves. For a decade, I invested on myself truly and was so courageous and was doing all these different therapies, different modalities, spiritual stuff, regression therapies, somatic therapies, like all kinds of stuff that would take me back to those moments that were truly challenging in my childhood. And I was always open. To be honest, I wasn't even scared. Like, I just wanted to heal so much. So why am I telling you all of this? Is even like someone like this might not remember what truly happened. And that is because, like, what truly happened is what someone does and then how you felt, what kind of impact it had on your nervous system in that moment, on your body, in your thoughts, like your mental states, how it impacted you, like what you felt in that moment. This was like so powerful for me because I realized that what I remember was only the surface. So everything that happened has a bigger impact on you than what you realize today. I want to repeat this. Everything that had happened as you were a child has a much bigger impact on your physical body. Is the final result, by the way. Like, it starts in your soul level, in a spiritual level, and then it goes into emotional, and then mental, and then, like, because there is nothing that's done, that's changed, it goes into physical. That's like, it's how big of an impact it has. It goes into physical at the end. So it's like the end, what do you call it? The end stop, let's say. So I want to repeat this. What you think happened and how it impacted you is so much bigger than what actually happened. You don't remember the whole thing as how you were impacted as a child. I mean, I don't mean like the situation. And even like, let's say an instance that you had with this narcissistic tendency parent. And they don't need to be like evil, by the way. I just repeat all of this for you to not like give up, okay? You are a good person. It doesn't make you a bad person to make clarity on what the F happened as you were a child, as you were a teenager, in your 20s, whatever, and still is happening. Let's say you think about an instance, one of the instances that you had with this parent. And usually it's like they, not just that they do something, but they say something. It's usually verbal, usually. And they're saying things to you and you remember it. Trust me that it was so much worse than what you would not be able to handle it if you were still consciously like in your body and being exposed to it. You sometimes like even leave your body. Like, I mean it in a way that, you know, when someone is really traumatized, they leave their body. Not that their soul goes somewhere else, like they're still there, but they become so numb and they freeze and they have to do things so that they can survive. Otherwise, there is no way that you can survive so much abuse. So, and these things happen more frequently than how you remember. And if you saw any one of these instances now, like not even you being in your body, you watching yourself and that person, like whatever is happening there, you watching that scene, but not on like TV, like being in that room. Because being in that room is very important to feel the energy. You know, you can feel the energy because what happened before is very, very, very important. So no one can tell you how it really impacted you. You know how it impacted you, because it's all about like what happened consistently, what this person does in what moment for you. The predator always knows that this is the most influential time for you to, give up on yourself, like lose confidence, like all of that stuff. I'm not going to talk about it here now, but you can listen to all the other episodes that I'm going to be making more episodes on, like the narcissistic abuse, like what happens. But I want you to have clarity. For you to be able to move forward in your life, you need to have clarity, and you have this strength. You have the strength in you. And depending on your situation, on what happened, you can always get support. I always suggest getting support, to be held by someone, like for someone to hold space for you while you go through these things. Get support, for sure. And I'm not talking about talk therapy, somatic therapies, all of that stuff. Like I talk about this a lot on other episodes, so I'm not going to go deeper into it. Please listen to the other episodes, and I will continue like making suggestions for you on what you can do. But having clarity is super important, and people in denial cannot move forward because of this. They prefer to be in denial, for some reason, and I understand it. For their parents to look perfect, or, good families, quote unquote, or like whatever, a happy family, whatever, or they did the best they can, whatever their mentality is. It's more important for them, for their families, for their parents to look that way than for them to really fulfill their life, like really live their life to their fullest potential and realize their own dreams and shine the brightest and bring something to the community, like give back. To be able to give back to community, you have to be in your like strongest. Like every day you have to be in that state of the peak state, and you can't do this when you're in denial. It's just not possible. Like someone in denial cannot be truly grateful. They really might want to. They really might try different techniques to be grateful, but there is no way, because gratefulness comes when you are accepting the whole pain as well, when you're not running away from it. In order to be grateful, you have to be able to be with the pain. It's just like, that's the only way. So you embrace all parts of you. You embrace all parts of life. You see the magic in life, in like everything happening for you and not to you. But like a lot of people, if not most of the people, prefer to be in denial, especially like where I come from in Turkey. It's so toxic. This is so hush hush, like it's so taboo to talk about honestly, with courage, like what the F happened, what someone did to you, and how it truly influenced you, what your nature was, what it required, what it needed, like those small things that were never given to you, those repairs that were so possible and so easy and did not require a lot of energy, never happened. And you were worth it. You deserved it. You are always enough, by the way. Like you are always enough. Whether you do this work or not, whether you want to take the actions or not, whether you do take the actions or not, you are always enough, and you are always worthy, always. So clarity is very, very important, because why? When you create this clarity on what happened and how it influenced you, then you can make a change about it. If you don't want to see something, you cannot make a change about it. Then if you see what truly stopped you, then it brings me to my second step is action and protection. So the second thing is, once you have clarity on what the F happened, how it truly influenced you, how it's not acceptable, and then you start making decisions about it. When you have the total clarity, there is no way you go back. There is like no way you make that decision that you will not make that happen, like expose yourself to it and call it love. You will never go back to that. And trust me, you become a more loving person, even a more compassionate person, because you start showing that to yourself first for the first time in a true way, even when things get tough, even when it's stuff about like, it's that other people don't do. You don't have any examples of. So the second one is action and protection. So obviously, taking action is everything. Like, just do it. Like, taking action and doing things might be very scary for you if it's something that is different, that is courageous, that requires courage, because, of all the stuff that you went through as a child or as an adult, even like whatever it is, you start understanding like how, with the clarity, you start understanding like how you were self-sabotaging. Maybe you were taking the actions before, but they were not the things that would truly get you the result. Like with your intelligence, you start seeing the things that move the needle, like the things that, it's not the 80% of our actions that gets us the results. It's 20% of the actions that we get. It's like the last call you make. It's like the last bit you add to your sales. It's like the last bit, like the last thing that you do to finesse something. Or it's the thing that you just do after all the things you've done. Like the last one step that makes a huge difference. And this is so hidden. So it seems as if you're doing everything. It seems as if you're courageous before and all of that stuff, but you're self-sabotaging yourself. So taking action is super, super important. Just do it. And because you were shamed, criticized, blah, 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 with narcissistic parent or parents, you might be really scared to fail now, but failing is the only way. And you don't have to fail, by the way, but just like falling down and getting up. It's like part of it. It's like part of it. The first time that I went surfing, my trainer told us in a way, like when you fall, just like you have to, of course, like be relaxed in your body when you fall so you don't get injured. But I realized like it was just such a metaphor for life. As I was falling down, that was part of the experience, and it was actually so much fun. So it's about that resilience. Like when you fall, you get back up, and when you become, when you truly reunite with your essence, start reuniting with your essence, you will start seeing that you have such a resilience that when you fall down, you actually get back up with even more resilience, like with even, what's the word? Like with even more certainty, more courage, more resilience, more strength. It's just how it works. Like you become like the warrior, the whatever, like you become like, bring it on. Because you've been through so much, you understand that, just bring it on. Like it's not going to make any difference for me. We do this thing like in our like business coachings where it's like, I am the gladiator. Like, bring me your fear, bring me your doubts, and I will bring you victory. Like, it's not going to affect you anymore. But you have to, the second part of this step is protection. Protection, protection, protection. So, protection from anything that is just toxic. So protection from, you start, because with the clarity, you understand how everything, like how the things influenced you from your closest ones that were supposed to give you the total opposite of whatever. You don't want to expose yourself to that BS anymore, because sometimes it only takes one brunch to bring your energy down. And so I suggest for a certain amount of time, really being in your own energy with people that bring you support, love, courage, understanding, compassion, never doubts your emotions, desires, abilities, whatever. Just being in that, like people that want to have a great life as well and like does these things. Just being exposed to that, positive things, watching, hearing, listening, reading only things that empowers you, and not being exposed to anything, like not even one comment, one facial expression, one tone of voice that is so familiar to you from your childhood, from like your whole life basically. Don't be exposed to anything like this for a certain amount of time in the best way that you can, in the best way, whatever your circumstances, whatever the situation is. Just I think I have done, and I will make more episode about this on like what you can do with a narcissist or a narcissistic tendency person, like what the actual steps are, how you can navigate that relationship in such a loving way. And trust me, if you do it in the right way, I don't want to say it in the beginning, but if you do it in the right way, you actually become, if it's destined to be, you actually become closer, because it's like the truth. It's more true to God. You're doing things that is aligned with you. You're not abandoning someone in that relationship, which is you. You're not abandoning him or her anymore. I'm just saying it might be a fear. So action and protection is super important. While you are taking these actions, exposing yourself to all the things that empowers you, that liberates you, that educates you, that trains you, that keeps you in that state. You learn these practices, these tools. You have to work it for it to work, for sure. Like you have to be so committed and dedicated to yourself that from the moment that you wake up until you go to sleep, you are conscious of your choices now. You are very conscious. You have to be the guardian of your mind. You have to see like what's coming, like what you're exposing yourself to. And by this, you raise your standards. You raise your standards for yourself. Like, so you expect more from yourself. You go for it every single day. You take uncomfortable action every single day, and it becomes really juicy and fun. You just do the things that scares you. You just do it every single day. And that starts becoming the familiar thing to you now, not the other BS. And we show compassion to ourselves, for our past, for everything we've done and haven't done. And we just start the journey of becoming our best selves. So we reunite with our true essence. So we leave away everything that has stopped us until that moment. And you stay committed to yourself every single day. And you will be amazed by the energy that unleashes. Because everything that has stopped you until this point, hear me out, was all coming to you from family. Let's wake up to this. Hello. The other stuff is just on top of it, but they're not the core. The core always comes from family. If you had a very traumatic experience, from someone that is not family, that applies as well, of course. But I'm talking about someone that that doesn't have that big story that all society says it's a trauma. This is so sad that, and this is why I do this podcast. Your trauma was really influencing you in a big way, and it was not acceptable. And it was where there was lack of love. It had nothing to do with love. It had nothing to do with like whatever the other person's abilities are. It has nothing to do with family. It's just like, no, let's change it now. So while you take the actions, you protect yourself. And I go deeper into this stuff on other episodes, but I will make more episodes on this. So please DM me if you have any specific questions, because there is like a ton of stuff that I can talk about every single week, but I want to be more specific to your question. So I would make an episode on it and I wouldn't share your name. Please DM me at Kevela. It's in the show notes, my Goddess Wear brand, my Instagram. Please DM me if you have any questions, and I'll do an episode here on Reunite with Self. I have another podcast as well, and that's in Turkish. So if you speak Turkish, go to that as well. It should be on the show notes too. And the third thing is, so you create clarity, boom, like that changes everything for sure. Life is never going to be the same after you create the clarity. That is the biggest step I have done most of my episodes on this until now. So please go back and listen to them. Just be open to the fact that there might have been narcissism in certain texture, color, tone, whatever in your family in some kind of way. And that is what had stopped you. And for you to move forward and create your incredible life, you have to create clarity on it. The second thing is you take action every single day. You do the things that you know that are aligned, that are good for you, that is going to get you to get you the result, that is on the path of like talking to that person, making that call, like whatever it is. It's a million things. Taking the action and protection. Action and protection, always. Always, you have to be consistent with this. And then the third thing is persistence and consistency. You have to do all of this with persistence and consistency. It's not like a one-time thing done. It's never that. You don't take shower once, you don't go to the gym, like not even go to the gym. You don't work out once, like you don't move your body one day and then like it's the end. It's like you have to do it consistently, and it's worth it, and it's life. And that's how you get the results, and how it starts becoming more fun, like really fun. You look forward to it. It becomes your nature. What your nature now, what is familiar to you is BS. BS, let's change it. Let's calm your nervous system, regulate your nervous system so you feel peace, safety, and you are in that environment, and you create an environment for yourself. So you start creating that incredible life today. You start feeling that incredible life today. You don't have to wait. You start feeling so good because now you're not abandoning yourself. So no matter what other people does, it's never going to affect you the same way because you don't abandon yourself for the sake of air quotes, love, family. You just realize it had nothing to do with it. It never had anything to do with it. Never, 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 never. If you looked from up above, you would see that it had nothing to do with it. And now we take the actions that are aligned with that incredible life that we want to create. So we move the needle just a tiny bit, even if you move it a tiny bit, which requires a lot of like resilience. It's like becoming a butterfly, or what is the other shrimp, I guess, like the animal that needs to like shed the skin. It's like, it's challenging, but you're doing it for yourself, and you're doing it for the good of all. It's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. That's the tiredness you get from this. Like, this is very important. The tiredness you get from this is never going to be the same as you in the past being frustrated and doing and trying so much. That tiredness is like frustration and death inside, because your soul knows that you're not living up to your potential. You're not doing the things that are aligned with you. You are enabling a lot of things and accommodating a lot of darkness there. And it has nothing to do with love. Let's create that love today and be an inspiration for others too, that they see that there is a possibility, an alternative like this too. There is a way like this too. And it's actually more loving. Like, there is no question. There should never be a question. We should be living our authentic truths, all of us, in all colors, and we should inspire each other like this. Staying true to ourselves, respecting one another, respecting each other's boundaries, respecting our own boundaries, and creating bringing those gifts to life to share with others. So we make a change, because your gifts are needed more than ever right now. I love you so much. The episode was just a little bit longer than what I anticipated, but I went deeper into things. I'm glad I did. So maybe this is the first time you were listening to an episode on Reunite with Self. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very grateful. And I will see you on the next one. I love you so much.